The world is changing at an unprecedented pace. China's economy is growing rapidly, transforming the nation into a global economic powerhouse. This remarkable growth is reshaping global trade and power dynamics, influencing markets and economies worldwide. The question on everyone's mind is China on track to overtake the United States as the world's leading economic power? To answer this complex question, we need to look at several critical factors. We will analyze economic indicators, government policies, global influence, and demographic trends. China's economic transformation over the past few decades has been nothing short of remarkable. Once a predominantly agrarian society, China has evolved into a global manufacturing powerhouse and a leader in technological innovation. This rapid ascent has prompted many to ask, is China poised to usurp the United States as the world's dominant economic force? Understanding the complexities of this economic rivalry requires a nuanced and detailed approach. It demands a careful examination of the distinct factors fueling China's economic engine, including its industrial growth and technological advancements. We must also compare key economic indicators between China and the US, such as GDP growth, trade balances, and innovation indices. Additionally, an analysis of the strategic policies implemented by Beijing is crucial to understanding their long-term economic goals. Moreover, we must consider the demographic landscapes of both nations, including population growth and workforce dynamics, and their potential implications for future economic growth. China's economic growth has been powered by several key factors. Manufacturing has been a cornerstone of this growth. The country has become the world's factory. It produces a vast array of goods from clothing to electronics. Another key sector is technology. Chinese tech companies are becoming global leaders in areas like e-commerce, artificial intelligence, and renewable energy. This economic expansion is not merely about producing low-cost goods. China is rapidly moving up the value chain, investing heavily in research and development, and fostering homegrown technological innovation. Companies like Huawei in telecommunications and Alibaba in e-commerce are challenging established global players, demonstrating China's growing technological prowess. Furthermore, China's government has played a pivotal role in fostering this economic miracle. Through strategic investments in infrastructure, education, and targeted industrial policies, Beijing has created an environment conducive to rapid growth. The government's emphasis on stability and long-term planning has provided a sense of certainty that has attracted both domestic and foreign investment. To compare the economic might of China and the United States, we need to look at key indicators. One important measure is gross domestic product, GDP. China's GDP has been growing at a faster rate than the US GDP for several years. However, the US still has a larger overall GDP. Another important indicator is GDP per capita. This measure tells us how much economic output each country generates per person. The US has a much higher GDP per capita than China. This means that, on average, Americans are still wealthier than their Chinese counterparts. However, the gap is narrowing. Beyond these headline figures, it is crucial to consider the composition of each economy. The United States maintains a significant lead in sectors such as technology, finance, and services. China, on the other hand, excels in manufacturing and increasingly in areas like renewable energy and artificial intelligence. This divergence in economic structures suggests that both nations hold unique strengths and weaknesses. China's economic rise is not a random phenomenon. It is the result of deliberate policies and strategies implemented by the Chinese government. One key strategy has been to attract foreign investment. China offered foreign companies tax breaks and other incentives to set up factories and businesses in China. Another key strategy has been to invest heavily in infrastructure. China has built new roads, railways, airports, and seaports at an astonishing rate. This infrastructure development has been essential for facilitating trade and economic growth. Moreover, the Chinese government has maintained a tight grip on its currency, the yuan, managing its value to favor Chinese exports. This combination of policies, often described as state capitalism, has propelled China's economic ascent. By leveraging the power of the state to guide economic development, China has achieved unprecedented levels of growth. However, this model has also drawn criticism for its lack of transparency, its propensity for state intervention in the market, and concerns over intellectual property rights. Section 5. China's global reach, the Belt and Road Initiative. China is not content with being an economic powerhouse at home. It is actively seeking to expand its influence and reach on a global scale. It is increasingly projecting its economic influence around the world, engaging in various international ventures and partnerships. One of the most ambitious examples of this is the Belt and Road Initiative, or BRI, which aims to create a vast network of trade and infrastructure. Launched in 2013, the BRI is a massive infrastructure development project that aims to connect China to other parts of Asia, Europe, and Africa. It seeks to revive the ancient Silk Road trade routes. The BRI involves building new roads, railways, pipelines, and ports across multiple continents. These projects are designed to facilitate smoother and more efficient trade routes. China argues that the BRI is a win-win for all countries involved. It promises mutual benefits through enhanced connectivity and economic cooperation. It will boost trade, create jobs, and improve infrastructure in developing countries. The initiative is seen as a catalyst for economic growth and development. However, critics argue that the BRI is a form of debt trap diplomacy. They believe that the initiative may lead to financial dependency on China. They point to cases where countries have taken on unsustainable levels of debt to finance BRI projects, potentially leaving them beholden to China. This has raised concerns about sovereignty and economic independence. Despite the controversies, the BRI underscores China's growing global economic clout. It highlights China's ambition to be a dominant force in the global economy. By financing and constructing infrastructure projects around the world, China is positioning itself as a key player in shaping the global economic order of the 21st century. The BRI is a testament to China's strategic vision and its desire to influence global trade and development. Section 6. The Demographic Dilemma, China and the U.S. As China and the U.S. compete for economic dominance, demographics will play a crucial role. China has a much larger population than the U.S. This gives it a potential advantage in terms of workforce size and consumer market. However, China also faces demographic challenges. China's population is aging rapidly due to its one-child policy, which was in effect from 1979 to 2016. This means that China will have a shrinking workforce and a growing proportion of elderly people to support in the coming decades. The U.S. also has an aging population, but its demographic challenges are less severe than China's. The United States benefits from a relatively younger population, fueled in part by immigration. This provides a demographic dividend, as a larger share of the population is in its prime working years. However, the U.S. also faces challenges related to income inequality and access to affordable healthcare, which could impact its long-term economic prospects. Section 7. The future of the global economy, competition or collaboration. The economic rivalry between China and the U.S. is one of the defining features of the 21st century. This rivalry is not just about numbers and statistics. It's about influence, power, and the future direction of the global economy. Both countries have strengths and weaknesses. China, with its vast population and rapid industrialization, has become a manufacturing powerhouse. China has momentum, a large workforce, and a strategic approach to economic development. Its infrastructure projects, like the Belt and Road Initiative, aim to expand its influence globally. The U.S. has a technological edge, a strong financial system, and a culture of innovation. American companies lead in sectors like software, aerospace, and biotechnology, driving global technological advancements. The future of the global economy will depend in part on how this rivalry plays out. The stakes are high, and the outcomes will affect not just these two nations, but the entire world. Will it be a zero-sum game where one country's gain is the other's loss? Or will there be a more nuanced outcome? Or can both countries find ways to cooperate and benefit from each other's strengths? Collaboration could lead to breakthroughs in technology, healthcare, and environmental sustainability. The answer is likely to be a mix of both. A complex interplay of competition and collaboration will shape the future. There will undoubtedly be areas of intense competition between China and the U.S., particularly in technology, trade, and geopolitics. Each nation will strive to outdo the other in these critical areas. However, there will also be opportunities for collaboration, especially in areas like climate change, global health, and nuclear non-proliferation. These global challenges require joint efforts and shared solutions. Ultimately, a more interconnected and interdependent world demands that both nations find ways to coexist and cooperate even as they compete. The balance they strike will set the tone for the global economy in the years to come. Section 8. Keep the conversation going. What do you think about China's economic rise? Do you think China will overtake the US as the world's economic superpower? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth analyses of global issues. The global economy is constantly evolving, and staying informed is crucial. Make sure to hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos.